All right. Homegrown country. We're here again. Got JUDTOWN with me.
Hey, hey,
What's going on, man?
not a whole lot. I appreciate you having me in.
Absolutely, dude. I'm glad you could come in.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you been playing music? How long you been writing? That kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I started playing when I was like 5 years old. My parents put me in piano lessons. And I did that for about 3 years. And then when I was 9, my dad bought me an acoustic bass guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, he played guitar. So I kind of grew up watching him play music and everything. He
Right.
played in a band, so I'd go watch them play when I was just a little kid.
That's
So
cool.
I kind of got to see, how fun it was. And so when I was 9, he got me a bass because I wanted to play guitar, and he said, "Why don't you just learn where all the notes are on the fretboard on this bass guitar?"
Right.
And then start playing some songs like that. And then after about a year of that, then he handed me the guitar and said, "Okay, do the same thing, just build chords off of it now."
That's cool.
And so, yeah, it was a cool way to learn
Yeah.
because then I kind of knew, there wasn't the whole, it took away it can be overwhelming to try to learn all the chords and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then I knew how like to play songs. Then I had to go in and learn how to like, okay, how do I fill this out and
Right.
build a chord? And then it made bar chords a lot easier because I was like, oh, okay, well, now I'm
True.
just playing it like the bass, but I'm just learning how to build the whole
Just
bar
adding
chord
these
off
other
of it.
fingers on
Yeah,
there.
exactly. And then there you go. You got
Yeah.
a full,
That's cool, man.
chord. So
Cool that he built that foundation for you like that. Because I mean, I'll admit, I went into guitar and learned GCDC,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and it kind of like creates a huge plateau right there sometimes if you're me. But that's cool, man. So how long have you been playing music like out professionally, like to getting paid for it or?
Okay, so I started that about a year and a half ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty recent to have been playing for so
I
long.
would have thought it had been way longer than
No, no. So
that.
yeah, about a year and a half ago in December of 2023, I played my first paid show.
Yeah. And how did that come about? Tell me about that.
Honestly, it was something I always kind of thought about in the back of my mind, but just never really pulled the trigger on doing it. And to be honest, I got to give a lot of credit to Brett Stafford Smith
Yeah.
and John Swanson
Mhm.
and Noah Swanson that was in here. I was hanging out with them and, just kind of playing music at their houses and stuff like
Right.
that. And, hanging out with Noah a little bit. And, then I just kind of started hearing them talk about playing gigs and stuff like that. And they were like, man, you should play gigs. And, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do it.
Might as well,
So
right?
shout out to them,
Heck yeah. That's
kind of,
cool.
I've loved watching what Noah's doing too, man. It's
Yeah.
super exciting to see him. And I'm excited about his new songs coming out.
Oh, yeah, they got
Here.
some good ones, man.
Yeah, yeah. I actually stopped into one of his shows last weekend.
Yeah.
I was playing down in Cottondale and he was at Southern Fields.
Right
And
on.
my show ended at 9 and I saw that his ended at 10.
There you go.
So I was like, I'm gonna have to drive right by there.
Yeah.
So I stopped in. I got to hear him play one of the new songs.
Cool.
And then of course he had me get up there and I was gonna play one song and then it turned into 3. And I was like, buddy, I do this too. You don't know,
Right.
like, you don't think I know what you're doing? Like,
He's just
he
getting a
kept
break.
going, one more. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing your job. I just played a 3-hour show, buddy. And I was like, whatever. Thanks for
That's
having me
funny.
up here. But it was funny. I
That's
was like,
hilarious.
I've done the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
if somebody wants to play a song, I'm like, play another one.
Right. All of a sudden, it turns into an open mic.
Yeah. I'm just hanging out. Then I'm like, I'm still getting paid.
Hey,
You
as
know?
long as there's still music, right?
People are entertained. I'm getting
We're
paid. I'm
providing
like,
entertainment.
keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah. So yeah, that
That's
was
good.
cool. But yeah, no, man, he's awesome. And so yeah, I mean, that's really how I got into it. And so I played at Corks and Cattle in December of 23. I know the owner there, so I was like, that'll be a first good
Right.
one to get into. And after that, just kind of started trying to add things. And it's been a slow burn. I think last year I played 20 shows total.
Yeah.
And now I've already played 20 this year. So
Right
I'm
on.
like hoping to double that at least.
Heck yeah, man.
And it's just kind of like you slowly add new places and all
The more
that.
and more people hear about you, then it just starts coming to you, and then pretty
Right.
soon you ain't even got a cold call nowhere to get gigs. It's just people
Yeah, I mean,
coming in. So
I saw you like were saying the other day, you were like, I only got like 2 more weekends available this year. And I'm like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah, I've
dude.
got 8
I was
dates
like,
left. Which
that
I
gets
mean,
wild.
don't get me wrong. Like I blocked off a weekend here, a weekend there for
Right.
myself. You know, I got to go to a wedding one weekend. You know, and that kind of stuff. So I'm not like completely booked playing every single weekend.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it fills up quick sometimes.
Yeah,
And
that's cool. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get to, you know.
it won't take long.
I'm just really just trying to like, you know, I told myself like at the end of last year, I was like, man, I think if I can get to like 10 shows a month, I would
Yeah.
be happy with that. And right now I got 9 booked this month. And
There
the
you
last
go.
weekend is still open. So I was like, man, I might hit that this month.
Yeah.
You know, I played 6 or 7 the past 2 months. And I'm like, I can see how it, you know,
It,
kind of just grows to that.
it does. Yeah, man. It does. What do you so you're play so you got 9 shows booked this month. Are you doing music full time or do you have a day job too? What?
I'm working part-time right now.
Okay.
You know, so I do have a part-time day job, but music is becoming the main, you know,
There comes a point
source of
where it
work.
gets real.
So
You're like, man, if I could just book 1 or 2 more gigs.
right, right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I just love doing it. I mean, it still doesn't feel like a job.
Right.
You know, I haven't yet gotten my car going, dang, I can't believe I gotta go play a show.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, hopefully it never gets there.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. I'm like, I can't believe they're paying me to go do this.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna play in my living room tonight either way.
Yeah.
Like,
Heck, exactly. Yeah.
you know, it's like, this is amazing.
I've always told people that like that I don't get paid for playing the music.
Right.
I get paid for loading all my gear in my truck, bringing it into your establishment and setting it up. And then I play for free for 3 hours. And then I break all that stuff back down and take it all back home.
I've said the same thing, man. People are like, you haul all this stuff around. I said, yeah, that's the job.
Yeah.
I was like, once I'm sitting on the stool in front of the mic, that's not work at
I'm
all.
doing the same thing I'd be doing at home.
Yeah, I was like, the job is moving all the stuff around, you know,
Exactly.
and making the flyers and, you know,
Yes, gosh.
all that stuff.
As an artist, there really is so many jobs
Yeah.
that you have to do. You have to be your social media manager,
Uh-huh.
your sound crew, sound guy,
Yeah.
lighting, you know, if you're bringing lights with you.
I haven't even started doing that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know.
I know, right? All I've got is the little square lights. You get them off of Amazon, plug them in, they just change colors.
Yeah. I might need to invest in
Yeah,
something like
it's
that.
like $30.
I'm slowly building out like my thing, but I'm like, everything you buy is something else you're gonna have to
Yeah.
add to the,
And
you
as
know,
they add up,
moving.
it adds to 1 more trip to the car, 2 more trips to the car.
Yeah. Like, I can see how that would get to like,
Yeah.
all right, especially when you're by yourself, you know, it's just like, well, that's the, you know, that's the job. It's
Right.
like, but I don't ever mind it. I'm like, get there an hour early, take my time, get in, get set up, and
I
then
like being early.
yeah.
I like being early.
I mean, I hate getting to a gig like 30 or 20 minutes. I mean, then it's just like
turn and burn, plug it all in, start playing.
You get it plugged in and sit up there, and it's like you can't even breathe.
Yeah.
You know?
Ain't even got time to go grab a drink.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, I like to be able to get it set up. If there's any problems, have time to run to Dollar General.
Right.
Buy, you know, whatever I need.
Give me a 9-volt battery.
Exactly. That seems like a good time. I did bring you a gift.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So this is for you. I wanted to say thank you for having me on and
thanks,
for
dude.
supporting all the local artists like you've been doing. It's really cool. But you'll see that what you just said is going to kind of come up in this.
Yes.
So it's like
an emergency kit.
It's like an emergency kit.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
No
dude. I
worries.
appreciate
And
that.
check out the top of that capo.
Oh, it's custom. Y'all can't see this, but it's got my name on the top of it. Dude, thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries,
bro.
man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
And there's a pack of picks in there. I don't know what kind you like, but those are the right ones.
Okay. Set me on a good path.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like perfect.
They're the correct ones.
Yeah, they are.
So,
cool. Then
no, but those are the ones I
Awesome.
play with. I was like, well,
Heck
maybe
yeah.
he'll use them.
Absolutely, I will.
So yeah, that stuff.
That's right in the range of what I use. So.
Any musician knows that those are not going to go to waste.
Right. Yeah, dude. Thank you so much. I
yeah,
appreciate
man. Of
that,
course.
bro.
Thanks for having me. This is
Yeah.
cool.
Absolutely. So, all right. So today we listened to Sunny Days.
Yep.
Played it on the radio. So tell me about that song specifically. What does that song mean to you?
Yeah, so I wrote it at the beginning of this year, and it was snowing, which is rare for Dothan.
Yeah, the
Stuck
snowpocalypse.
in stuck in the house, you know, getting cabin fever, and I'm just like, it's the winter blues hitting, you know, not a lot's going on, not a lot of shows are happening. You know how it is, just middle of winter, you're like, ugh, Christmas is over with, and you got that
Right.
period. Um, so I was just sitting in there, like, kind of reminiscing on like, man, we used to have it so good as kids, you
Yeah.
know, like we didn't have to worry about anything but having fun and all that. And, you know, we grew up going to Lake Eufaula. My grandparents have a house on the lake.
Mm,
So we would go there every weekend. And, you know, grandpa would be fishing on Saturdays and doing
right.
cookouts every Saturday night. And we'd be playing on the lake, you know, hanging out with everybody. And so I just kind of wanted to write a song, you know, kind of dedicated to that time in my life because it was so impactful.
Right.
You know, and so the premise of the song was like kind of, you know, the beginning, I'm just kind of bummed out and it's just like, hey, take me back there, you
Yeah.
know, when everything was just,
That's cool,
you know,
man. I
chill.
like
So
that. Even just listening to you talk about that, I was already relating to it.
yeah.
So
I'm sure,
that's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Whatever it is, you know, I think somebody will probably have that spot, you
Right.
know, or thing in their head from when they were a kid when they're like, yeah, man, that was,
I remember
you
doing
know,
that.
that
But
was a little bit more, you know, kind of chill and, you know, no responsibilities and all
right.
that. And I just wanted to kind of put that into a song.
I like that.
And so, yeah, I was excited to put it out. So
So how
hopefully everybody will
does
like it.
how did that song come to you? Did it come to you like when you start writing a song, does it come as like a hook or a line first, or do you hear it in your head as more like a melody and then you put words to it? Like do you start with the music or the lyrics?
Um, they're all different, but for the most part, it's always going to be music first.
Okay.
I'm just sitting there and I just start playing with different
Just
chord
humming along
progressions.
something.
And the chords come first, then I start humming. And that song, the chorus came first.
Mhm.
And then I had to go back and write the first verse, which
Right.
is always hard to me. Like
Yeah.
I had the chorus completely done before I even knew a single word I was gonna
Yeah.
say
And
in the
now I've gotta
first
go make up
verse.
the story kind of
Right.
part of it.
Now I'm like, okay, like now we need to get there,
Mhm.
you know, set it up really.
Yeah.
So that's how that one came about. And but yeah, sometimes it's the first line of the song is what comes to me first.
Yeah.
And then I'll write it from there. Very rarely do I have words or melody in my head and then I have to go to the guitar. I've done it before,
Right.
but 99% of the time it's me playing, you know, the chords
Mhm.
and then melody and then lyrics.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I always like asking that question because it seems like everybody's got a different
Yeah, I've been
and which
watching the show and the different people that come on and I'm like, wow, we really all do it differently.
yeah, we really
Yeah.
do. That's
And
that
that's what's cool about it. It's like it all
exactly.
ends in a song, but the way we get there is
So
just like,
different sometimes.
yeah, that's what's fun about it
Yeah,
though.
that's what I like. So, like, even listening to you talk about yours, I would say 90% of mine start with words. Like,
Really?
yeah, I start like actually last night I was leaving. We had cooked dinner, ate dinner, and then realized we wanted milk and cookies, and so I drove to the Dollar General just to get milk last night at like 8:30,
Yeah.
and I left and had like two lines just pop into my head, and right now I can't even think of them, but I've got them in the notes on my phone. And yeah, and like on the way to the Dollar General, I wrote a chorus and then got back and like figured out how to sing it.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
so now like I've got it, I can sing it in my head. I have no idea what key it's in,
Yeah.
but
You just know the
and
melody
then
and
probably today I'll sit down with the guitar and I'll start singing it, and then I'll just try to find those chords.
that's cool. Like I honestly, I mean, I think I've done that once and
Maybe
it's
I'm
just
doing it
not
the hardest
something
way.
I don't honestly, I don't know. I mean, there's not a
Right.
wrong
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like, you know, that's a good thing to do is just always try to think about lines. Um, because I'll be honest with you, I don't write a lot of songs compared to other people, you
Mm.
know, or
Oh,
like
I
I've
don't
heard you
either.
talk about like, you know, or like having a bunch of notes in your
Like a
phone,
hook
and then
book,
you're like,
yeah.
yeah, see, I don't have any of that. And I'm like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like maybe I need to try to like,
Right.
get more ideas out there. But honestly, like I'm very linear with my songwriting process. It's like I get a chord progression, and then all I think about for like the next 2 or 3 weeks is that. And sometimes I'll get stuck on one for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't just sit down and write a song. Like it's like
Yep.
I'll be singing it in my head, and it actually drives me crazy. It's like I don't enjoy the process.
Right.
I really don't. It's like
You
it
sit down to write it to get it out of your head.
Yes, it bothers me and bothers me. And it'll just be like all day, and I'll just be like, I don't know what to put in this second verse right here. And it drives me nuts. And then when I finally get it done, it's almost like I take, a 2 or 3 week break from writing a song because I'm like,
Right.
Does that sound funny? Like,
yeah. I'm
I
tired
don't
of
know
being
if it
stuck
sounds
on
weird,
it.
but like it's almost like it's done. It's such a relief. And then I'm like, all right, let me just take a break. And then after a couple of weeks, I'm like, get back in there and like start playing with chord progressions. Like, okay, now, and not that I hate writing songs. I didn't want it to come off like that. It's just like
no, it can.
It'll drive you nuts because you just want to find the right.
You want to make like you want to finish it, make it perfect, and you wanted to get it exactly how you imagined it up here. Sometimes it's hard to get it from here to paper.
It is. That's the hard part, and it's like it's always something different. I wrote a song that I finished last week that I'm actually going to play for you here in a little bit. A new one, and I wrote the second verse first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just knew it was the second verse. So I was like, that's the second verse. Yeah. And then I wrote the chorus, and then I had to write the first verse, and the first verse took me the longest because I was like, and I'm just like, why do I like how
why did I work
I
backwards?
didn't mean to do that. It's just like I wrote a verse and I was like, that's the second verse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the chorus that I wrote last night is the very last chorus of a song. Like it's the end of a song, the heavy hitting words, I'm like, now I have to make up everything before that.
Right. You're like, I gotta build to that. Yeah. But that's what's cool about it, man. I love talking to people about how they write their music because it's like
it is neat to see how different it is.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So off of music, tell us a little bit about yourself. What are your other hobbies? What do you like to do outside of music?
Right now I'm training a lot. Me and my dad, he's a triathlete, and so he's got me into biking and swimming and all that. And so I've been training a lot. I go swim at Westgate here.
Cool.
We did an open water swim last month in Pensacola. It was a 1.2 mile swim out in the Pensacola Sound. Yeah, it was gnarly. It was super, super windy. It was white capping out there.
I bet,
and it beat us up, but we finished it.
That's crazy.
And I did it in like 54 minutes, but that's just 54 minutes of surviving out there. I was like, man, we got done.
If I'm going to be in the water for 54 minutes, I'm going to need a pool noodle and a cooler of beer.
Right. Yeah, it's fun though. I mean, it's got me, motivated to work out. I've never really been that consistent with working out, but this stuff is fun. I like going and riding my bike for an hour or two. And but yeah, he's a maniac, man. He does like Ironman, so he's got he does the super intense,
the
13, 14 hour
oh man,
races, so he's got one of those coming up at the end of the year.
That's crazy cool.
So he definitely motivates me to go out and do that. And my mom rides bikes with us as well. We rode this morning before I came here. And so I just like doing stuff like that right now. And hanging out with the wife. We have a kid on the way.
Okay, cool.
Due in September, so we're gearing up for that. Yep, it's gonna be a little girl.
Right on.
And so we're in full blown like nursery mode.
Yeah, you're nesting right now.
Yep. And my brother just had a baby 3 weeks ago, so it's the year of the babies in our family.
Sounds like
so yeah, it's like music, work it out, getting ready for for
being a dad.
babies. Yep,
Heck yeah,
exactly.
dude. That is
So
so cool.
we're excited. We're
That
super
sounds like it,
excited.
man. Sounds like a fun chapter you're in right now.
Yep,
I like
yep.
that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, heck yeah. So, all right, couple rapid fire questions before we set you up to play a song for us. What's your you like coffee?
I do.
What's your go-to coffee order?
All right, so I make it every morning for myself at home.
Okay.
Keurig black. Nothing in it. But if I go somewhere and order it,
All right.
I order a cafe latte with whole milk and light hazelnut.
Ooh, I like hazelnut too.
But I don't want anything too sweet. So I tell them to put half of what they would normally put in as far as the hazelnut.
Right.
So that's that's what I'd order
Cool, I like
if I
it.
go anywhere. But at home it's just every day it's just black.
I'm kind of the same way. I come in here and we have like a little Keurig machine in the back, and I do like 2 Splendas and some black coffee.
Yeah.
That's it.
I honestly think I started drinking black coffee just out of laziness.
Right. Yeah.
I was like,
I can't make it like the Starbucks ladies do.
You know what? This isn't for me. This is just for the energy. Like,
Right.
I'm just gonna have it to wake up, and if it's bitter, it'll wake me up even faster.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, all right, let's go. So that's the coffee order.
That's funny. All right. So cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I got one at the house. He's 10 years old. He's a character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He still acts like he's 2. He's a lab, and he has more energy than I think he did 9 years ago.
Does yours only have 2 brain cells, or is it just mine that only has 2 brain
Man,
cells?
honestly, I think he has 1. We're still waiting on his brain to develop. So we're getting a little concerned at this point. We're a decade in. But all he thinks about is the ball, man.
Yes.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
He could care less about anything else. It's just all ball.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. And what about, do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Short answer, yes.
Okay. All right.
And I listened to Gage's episode, and I was like, I could sit down and talk to that guy.
Right.
Because I was like, man, I was like, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I love listening to stuff like that.
I had a friend of mine, he lives down in Weewa. He sent me a video the other day. He actually posted it on Facebook, and then it got taken down for some reason. But he sent me a video the other day of something that was over top of his barn, and it like zigzags around and then shoots off.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, it kept me up for days. He's like, I called into work the next day because like I couldn't sleep that night. He was like, my emotions were a wreck. And I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, it sounds like you really.
Yeah, that's nuts. See, I've never seen anything like that. But yeah, I mean, there's just too many reports of stuff like that. And then, I don't know, it just seems like the more you get into it, the more it seems like something's going on.
Yeah.
But as far as them existing, I mean, the odds of them not are so great that, I mean, you have to be insanely skeptical to think that life has only happened right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think so too.
It's like, you know, I was listening to Adam Frank on Lex Friedman's podcast, and he was talking about, you know, they reworked the Drake equation back in, like, I think they put out a paper in like 2016 or something like that. But they came up with a figure, and it's basically, you know, the number of exoplanets.
Right.
And it's like 10 to the 22nd power, which is, if you were to say that number, it's 10 billion trillion, you know, planets that could possibly harbor life. And to think that they are not aliens was to say that we are the 1 in 10 billion trillion that it happened on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they called it the skeptic line. And I, you know, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, I mean, how can you even, first of all, we can't wrap our head around that number, right? Because that's 10 billion trillion planets with water and land and mountains and like everything here. Just the vastness of that, you can't wrap your head around.
Right.
And to say that
we're the
right
only
now,
ones.
in the past 3 million years, this small sliver of time, you know?
Yeah, out of 10 billion trillion,
Right.
it's just us.
It's just us. It seems a little arrogant.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
to
right.
think
That's the word, arrogant.
it's us.
Yeah.
You know, it's
We're
like
the special ones.
right.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're right. You're
But
right.
it's like then you get the question, are we being visited right now? Have we been visited in the past, which I think is pretty likely.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's so many I don't know.
My question is if we have all this like ancient, like there's a new episode or new season of Ancient Aliens on Netflix now that just dropped like yesterday or whatever.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
But if there's all this evidence of like them coming to visit us in the past, why aren't they coming to visit us now? Like,
Right.
show up, guys.
I know. It's like, come on.
I want to draw pictures of you on my bedroom wall for people to find in a million years.
Yeah, I want to carve your picture. But no, that's when you get into the time scale thing. It's like when you think of the amount of time that we've even been here, you're like 10,000 years is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really absolutely not even a blip on the geologic time scale. So it's like for them to time up with coming when like right now, it's like then you're talking about a whole nother super low set of probabilities.
That's true.
You know,
they got 10 billion trillion other planets that they could be visiting right now.
Right. And it's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, my head starts hurting when I start thinking about how big the universe is and all that. But it is fun. It is fun to think about and try to study about. And
makes me feel real small, and I like that for some reason.
Yes, yes. My wife won't have the conversation. She shuts me down. I think it's too much. She's like, nope. Please stop talking.
All the numbers start coming up in front.
Yeah, she was riding with me to a gig the other day, and I was like, started talking about all this, and she was like, "Please don't, please don't." I was like, "Okay."
You get real cranked up on that one.
I do. So
I like it.
Yeah, I knew that question was coming. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, but yeah, I won't talk to you about it for an hour because I could.
We'll have to put some more film in, and then we'll keep it going.
Right.
So you want to play a song for us?
Yeah, I got a new song.
You gonna play?
It's called "The Long Way."
Okay.
And I'm actually working towards an EP that'll come out at some point this year, probably a little bit later, maybe fall. And that's going to be the title track of the EP.
Cool.
And I just finished it last week. So
I guess I should ask you this too. How do you do in your recording? Are you doing it like you go to a studio, or are you doing it at home?
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm glad you asked. I'm going to see Josh Bright, the same guy that Noah's going to see. Cool. So I got his info from Noah.
Right on.
I heard that first song he put out, It Ain't Easy, last year, and I messaged him immediately.
Yeah.
And I said, who did you do that with? Because it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
And so he shot me Josh's info, and I cannot say enough good things about working with him. I mean, he's incredible.
Heck yeah.
And so I've went and done a few songs with him, and I'm actually going to go see him next week to record this one that I'm about to play and another one. So yeah, anybody that needs music done, go see Josh. He'll do a great job. And yeah, I'm always just blown away when I go in there. Bright. Yeah, shout out to Josh Bright.
Another one.
That's
cool. Heck yeah. So, that's sweet. All right, cool. All right, we'll get you set up to play a song.
Awesome. This one's called The Long Way. Backpack in my polo. First day I don't wanna go. Mama dropped me off with a smile and said, boy, you're doing just fine. It feels like it was yesterday, and another life all the same. The parties and friends turned to way back wins. Do you remember that one time? 'Cause one day you're in class making plans for the fall and can't wait to be out in the world on your own. Next thing that you know, you got kids running around, but don't forget there's something about taking the long and a nice cold beer after a long day. Heading down to the river on a Sunday when you ain't got
another show at the beach bar, a couple bucks in my tip jar. I head south every weekend, playing Panama to Port St. Joe. A guy stopped me the other day, said, I know you got what it takes. Just sing from your soul and write what you know, and someday you'll make it fall. And I know you can't wait to be off on a worldwide tour, playing sold out shows to some crowds out in Europe. And they know every word and they all sing along, but don't forget there's nothing wrong with taking the long way. And a nice cold beer after a long day. Heading down to the river on a Sunday, when you ain't got nowhere to be. And one day I'll be sitting on a porch somewhere with a face full of lines and I've seen it all still. And I'll get asked, how did you stay sane in a world so damn fast-paced? And I'll just smile and say, take the long way. Crack a nice cold beer after a long day. Head on down to the river on a Sunday, when you ain't got no